Guys, welcome to another edition of 3SSR Footy Hit. John Donahoe, Peter Saros as always, and Pete, the Tigers, they were very poor last week.
Yeah, I can't say too much positive about them. It was a really disappointing game. Port Adelaide, though, in all fairness, their intensity was incredible. I haven't seen a team do that in a very long time to another side in the top 8. But Port Adelaide, credit to them. I think that if they go out there like that every week, they'll take it home this year.
Yeah, absolutely. 8 goals to 1 in the first quarter did not help, and I think they kicked a goal probably about 2 minutes in.
They forced Richmond into too many mistakes. Richmond didn't make the mistakes. Port Adelaide forced them into it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was just that pressure. They were in their face the whole game. It was great to see.
The Tigers definitely didn't come to play. Nine wins on the trot. Everyone thought, myself included, I was seduced by the Tigers. You know, everyone thought after they beat Sydney the week before that they were a real chance to come home and come over to Adelaide and beat Port. It just was never going to happen. And you know, I don't know why I fell for it, but you know, I did, and credit to Port. They put everything behind them. They were in front of their home crowd, the Portress, and they went whack.
That's right. And remember, Richmond did win 9 in a row. It's the first time Richmond made the finals, back-to-back final series since the early 70s and 72, between 72 and 75. So Damien Hardwick's technically the most successful coach since Francis Burke in 1982. So that's an interesting statistic there.
Good on him. There you go. So, look, he's doing wonderful things at the Tigers. A few quick ball winners, mate. The Tigers were in the top 3 of the top 4 winning ball getters, which is bizarre because they got smashed. Deledio 29, Martin 29, Hooley 27, and then Robbie Gray on 25 for Port.
But as I said, they couldn't do much with the ball because Port Adelaide's pressure was so intense that Richmond were just turning it over. They couldn't do much. They had no time to stop and think. It was just get rid of it as quick as possible. Yeah, and Port Adelaide forced that.
Absolutely. We started off with the Sunday game. We'll jump ahead now to Friday and we'll come down. The Hawks were pretty good, and they showed their premiership aspirations there against the Cats. Everyone thought it was going to be quite close. You know, these two play pretty good games, but 36 points in the end, and the Hawks were phenomenal.
It was a great effort by them, and I think they've firmly put into place that they're going to be playing in the grand final this year, in my opinion. Sam Mitchell was phenomenal.
36 disposals, yeah.
And it was just the class of the disposals. Like, I remember, because I was at the game, I watched him. He had the ball, was going to forward 50. He knew that he was going to get crunched, but nailed the kick, and they ended up getting a goal out of it. And he was knocked on his arse. And credit to him. Great player.
Absolutely. Jordan Lewis was pretty good as well. 20 disposals, 3 goals, as well as Jack Gunson, who kicked 3 goals and had 14 disposals. Joel Selwood, for mine, was one of the best on ground. 3 goals, 31 disposals, and look, this bloke is a serious chance to win the Brownlow. Obviously, you don't get votes for the finals, but his last 4 or 5 weeks of the regular season was absolutely outstanding. So watch this bloke on Brownlow night.
They always are outstanding. He's just been a great player for so long. Ever since he got into the club, he's played in. I don't think he's ever missed a final series. He's played finals every year of his career, which is very rare to do that.
Yeah.
But he always stands up in the finals as well, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move on to the Sydney Freo game. This was touted as one of the greats of the round. I enjoyed this game. Excuse me. I really enjoyed this game. 3 goals, 4 to 3 goals, 1 at quarter time, goal for goal. 5-8 to 5-3 at half time, and then the Swannies pulled away.
Fremantle are not as good as what they were last year, and a lot of people think they are for some reason. Sydney are incredible, and they deserve the win. And I don't think Fremantle are going to be playing in a grand final. I think they're going to actually be beaten this week. So that's just my opinion. And Sydney are a very good chance. I reckon it's going to be a Sydney Hawthorn grand final.
Matty Pavlich was on fire with 4 goals. They worked hard all day. Freo, credit to them, and Nat Fyfe had another great game. But Sydney just too strong. Buddy Franklin came to the game in the third quarter and turned it on with a spectacular running goal from the boundary. It had all the same hallmarks of what he did against Essendon a few years back from the same pocket.
He does it all the time, though.
Same pocket, but on a different ground.
It's a typical Franklin thing to do.
When the chips are down, Buddy usually stands up, so good on him. 3 goals, 18 disposals. Ben McGlynn was outstanding. He's played a really good year as well, 3 goals and 19 disposals. But, mate, Luke Parker is an absolute star. This kid is going to be a premium midfielder in probably a year, if not sooner. Give him a Norm Smith now, because I think this bloke is going to absolutely tear it apart grand final day.
Well, since being the substitute in the 2012 grand final, he has completely killed it. He's become, from that 22nd man, he's become part of their best 5 midfielders, and he's going to be a very good player for a very long time.
Yeah, and if I was playing against him in a grand final, I would definitely put a tag on him, because if you let him run free, this guy will absolutely tear you apart. We'll move on. Game of the first week of the finals, I thought, was Saturday night. Now, it didn't look great going into halftime, but, geez, North fought, didn't they? Benny Brown, it was the battle of the mops, really. Benny Brown and Joe Danaher turned it on, and the Bombers were really good for a half until North just came fighting back.
It was one of those games where it was won by whoever had the better half. Essendon had a fantastic first half, North Melbourne had a better second half, and they won the game. A little disappointing from Essendon because they had the win. They had it there. It was within grasp. They had it, and then they lost it. And it was just disappointing for Essendon, but fantastic for North Melbourne to get back in the game.
Yeah, Ben Brown 4 goals, Joe Danaher 4 goals. So those two young fellas, the future of their footy clubs, and look, both of them are going to be absolute stars. Benny Brown being a little cult figure there in the number 50 jumper.
Credit to Paul Chapman as well. Kicked 2 goals, 1, and had 22 disposals. Yeah,
he's been absolutely outstanding for the Bombers since he's come across. Dyson Heppel was pretty good as well, 34 disposals. He's a smoky for mine for the Brownlow, mate. He had an absolute great night. Levi Greenwood, I think, was the best player on the ground. He stood up when North needed him. Excuse me, I got something in my throat. It's not good today. Levi Greenwood was outstanding for them, and when they needed someone to stand up, he lifted. He had 12 disposals, I think, in the first half, and got 21 in the second half. Outstanding from him. I've said it. I know I've said outstanding a lot, but there's no other way to put it. He was phenomenal.
Throw Boomer Harvey to this list, and it's going to be a very good match this week. And they take on Geelong, don't
they? They do. We'll get to that now. So
yeah, what do you get tips for that one?
Few tips here. Semi-final footy. Now, the elimination final winners in the last 10 years have never gone on to a prelim final. It's always been the top 4 teams. I think that's going to change this year, and there could be a real upset brewing as well going into prelims. You never know, because if these teams who are running on adrenaline, they've got to play elimination finals each week. They're throwing everything out there, and I think both are going to win. I think North and Port are both going to knock off Geelong and Freo.
I disagree. I think Geelong will beat North Melbourne, but I think Port are going to comfortably win over Fremantle, especially if Port Adelaide go out there the way they did against Richmond. That was incredible. North Melbourne, Geelong, it's up and down.
Both Geelong and Freo are a bit banged up at the moment. Stevie J is still under a cloud. Stevie Motlop has a little bit of a niggle going on. Alan Christensen probably won't get up for the game. And look, Tommy Hawkins had a poor game last week, so he'll need to step up. Freo, on the other hand, Ballantyne will be out. Johnson's out. They're undermanned, and Port, if they can get Matt White up to play, it's theirs to take.
Well,
really.
Apparently he's playing with the injury, so that's an interesting one.
Matt White? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, mate, that's a huge in for them. And look, I think both away teams are going to win here.
I still disagree. I think Geelong will beat North Melbourne, but Port Adelaide, I think, will win against Fremantle.
You're not wrong. It's absolutely set up to be a cracker. I was about to say absolutely again.
I was wondering where you were going.
I was about to say absolutely twice, and it's set up for an absolute cracker this week, the semi-final football. That's all we got time for today. Good luck to the old Zavs this weekend against the Skevvies on Sunday afternoon at Elsternwick Park. Good luck to your Don Vale Sharks as well, and good luck to all the AFL teams out there. I'm John O'Hara. He's Peter Saros. Till next week, goodbye.
See ya.